This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by Dean Whyte for the very first time. This is the first time I've ever interviewed you.
There you go. First time for everything.
How you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. We're here at the Riverside for the press conference for Rivas and my bro Dillian Whyte. So yet again we go again, July the 20th, summertime, the best time. I normally go away straight after the fight. I think this is a first that I'm not going to be going away after the fight. I haven't booked anywhere just yet, but I don't believe so. So yeah, it's interesting.
You actually did my job for me there. You introduced where we are. Dillian Whyte versus Whyte-Rivas. Great fight. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, it is an interesting fight. It's quite weird because not a lot of people know Rivas. So it's one of those ones where we're going to have to kind of, talk about him, and hopefully the fans will tune in and go and do their own homework, which they should do, as fans. When even with the football, these guys, they check up who their team's playing, who's on the sub bench, who's actually. It's the same. They should do the same. He's an undefeated fighter. He's a former Olympian. He beat Andy Ruiz in the qualifiers to qualify for the Olympics, and then he beat Pulev on the way. So he's got good pedigree, So if the fans don't know, there's a bit of education for them, but they should go and do their own homework. He's 26-0, and his most standout win is against Brian Jennings recently. So other than that, there's not much we know about him. He's in great shape, as you can see when you look at him. He looks the part. He's got quite a decent knockout ratio. I think it was 18 knockouts, I believe. So he's a tough cookie. So Dill needs to be on his A game. Dill likes to take all these tough fights. The can man, as he says, he likes to take these tough guys and push it to the limit. But listen, I think it brings out the best in him if he continues fighting regularly instead of sitting on the sidelines waiting. So it's definitely interesting.
And one thing that attracts me about this fight is I think the styles will match up very well. I mean, Rivas is somebody who's going to come and let his hands go. He's very aggressive.
Come forward.
Exactly, and come forward. Why don't you just tell people who maybe, as you say, aren't as familiar with Whyte-Rivas, just what type of style he's going to bring to the ring and what fight we can expect?
I've watched a few of his fights. To me, his jab seems good. He throws quite a decent selection, but he leaves himself open quite a lot when he's throwing them shots. So I think, like you say, the styles are going to gel well because Dill's a good catch and counter, fighter. He's got a good jab, which is underestimated a lot by people, in terms of that they don't know how good his jab is. He's actually got a very, very long reach, So it's definitely interesting. I think, we're going to have to wait till July the 20th and we'll kind of get a clearer picture. But I think they'll both come in and I think it'll be exciting. For me, I'm just happy to get the win whatever way it comes. We don't want to take too many silly chances because he is a power puncher. But I think an opportunity will arrive in many different ways. He's quite muscly. So I think the body shot might work well with him if we start early at the body, try and wear him down, and then just use his jab and try and dictate and set the tone early. I think that was what Mark was alluding to. Mark's quite crazy. That's funny. I heard him trying to get it out, but I think that's what he's saying. Set the tone early, gaze the distance, and just be clever, man, and just show him who's boss. This is my playground, and that's what you're gonna play my game, buddy. That kind of thing.
Now, something I actually mentioned to Dillian when I sat down and spoke to him earlier. You're everywhere at the minute. You're doing this, you're doing that. You're looking after fighters, managing fighters. From a managerial point of view, is this too much of a risky fight for Dillian? Would you have advised him against this fight? I mean, I assume you had some sort of say or with regards. We
were talking. The team spoke about a few possible guys, and they asked me who do I think. But what you got to look at is the landscape. There's not many options for fighters out there at this level. They're all dangerous. They're all pretty top level. So I think out of all of these boys, he's actually got the toughest kid out of the bunch because obviously Tyson Fury's got Swartz. Joshua had Miller, which was a decent fight. I believe he's got an announcement shortly for the kid he's going to fight, which is going to be a decent fight also, I believe. But I think this kid is a bit tougher because he's beat that kid also, Andy Ruiz. I'll mention it doesn't matter. Whoever, I'm sure I've
mentioned it already today.
Yeah. So a lot of people. So he's already beat that kid. So we definitely know he's got a better fight. And then you've got Pulev is probably, what did he do? Kiss the bird or pat her on her bum? I don't know what he's done. He's out of the way. And then you've got Povetkin. I don't know if he was going to be ready. He's a tough guy as well. But for the guys that are out there, this is a good fight, and it's an interesting fight because he's undefeated. Yet again, you go out there, you fight a former Olympian, and it's just back to back. They said it before in the Chisora fight. Why did Dill take this fight? He didn't need to take this fight. In the Parker fight, they said the same thing. Why did Dill take this fight? He didn't need to take this fight. So it's just the same old story, and hopefully it's the same conclusion as always. That left hook to the body or to the head, wherever it wants to make its home, is where I'll be happy for. And just to see him box clever, I think he's performed a lot better time and time again. So long may that continue. If he goes in there, he's gaining experience, and he's getting wiser and smarter with how he's boxing. So hopefully he just continues doing that, and he doesn't get caught up in the moment. But I can't see it, because this kid, he doesn't even talk English, so there's not going to be any trash talking at the press conference. So there won't be any that hard feelings, so there won't be any emotions to make you not perform in the capacity you should be.
There's also something quite similar. Obviously, Joseph Parker does speak English, but there wasn't that animosity in that build-up, and still produced a performance from Dillian.
Yeah, but I think obviously there was a mutual respect. I think there's somewhat of a mutual respect, because Rivas was being very, very, respectful, and Dill didn't have much to say. Because if someone is being respectful and so on, you'd be a bit silly to kind of try and slag them off or be a bit rude. So in this one, it's going to be the best man, and the best man who settles and with the best skills are going to win the fight on the night. And I believe, Dill will show his levels on the night, and give another performance for the fans and get a great win.
Where would you rank this compared? I mean, you've already mentioned Fury versus Schwartz. We've got Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale in a couple of weeks. Anthony Joshua, rumoured to be fighting Andy Ruiz. Where would this rank in among those fights? I mean, a lot of people, I wouldn't say who, think that this potentially is the best heavyweight fight out of those bunch. Would you agree with that?
No, that's what I said earlier. If you didn't catch me, I said this is the standout fight of all of those guys. The best one, I think, which has an element of like what you have is this. You got is an unknown quantity. So what it is if Dillian has a hard fight with him, the fans is going to be looking at it like, well, are you really world level? But you got to appreciate this kid is right up there with the best of them. So they got to appreciate and go and do their homework. That's why I was mentioning that, because this guy is that good. Obviously, we haven't seen it on fight night. We're going to see, and they're going to see that, this is a good kid and it's a good fight to have made at this juncture. Because I think, like you said, out of all the boys, this is the hardest fight that he's going to have. And I think that's what he likes. He likes this because you need these kind of fights to make yourself get up and perform. Because if he went and fought someone that he knew, like he said, he's got 80% chance of winning, he might overlook them. And a lot of the time, if you notice, like with Lennox Lewis and Hassan Rahman, he overlooked him. He was doing a movie and doing stuff, and he ended up getting knocked out. So you need someone to ruffle your feathers a little bit. So in training, you're going to go in there and go the extra yard, the extra mile run, You're going to eat a bit more broccoli, a bit more carrots, If you don't want to do it and you want the burger, cheeseburger, Just like old bloody Miller. But, it's one of those. Yeah, so it's... He's the can man, and like he said, he wants the hard fights, and he wants the fans to come out and tune. He's made himself into a pay-per-view star, and he's got to give the fans a good buck for their money. So they, and that's what I believe.
Now, you've mentioned Miller, and I understand that you've taken a lot of questions on this, so I won't bore you to death with it. But I mean, as I say, I've never interviewed you, but the story kind of changed very quickly. He's now come out to admitting fault for doping. Just your thoughts on that, and what do you think can be done to make sure things like that don't happen again, or what can we put in place in boxing?
Do you know, the funny thing is, he was caught, like he said, bang to rights, because one of the steroids he was caught with was only injectable. So, there was no way for him to say it was through contaminated meat or so on, or for a drink or whatever it was. But listen, in the beginning, he did try to get away with it until, but listen, he was on everything. He knew what he was taking, because he was on all the best stuff. He was on EPO, he was on the growth hormone, he was on that GW 15, 16. He knew exactly what he was doing. And like I said before, like you said in previous interviews with other people, those are that guy, 315 pounds, finding the amount of volume of shots, being as fit as he was in the first round, in the 12th round, was crazy. So I did think it was suspicious, not surprised at all. I think he should be punished, because the sport needs to be clean. Like, he could seriously have harmed someone. I don't think he would have harmed Joshua, because I thought he was going to lose, to be honest. I thought he would give a good account of himself, give a good run for his money, but I think he might have come up short with the cleaner boxing of Joshua, and Joshua hitting the target. Maybe not early, but mid to late, because, in the first round you can absorb quite a bit. As the rounds go on, you become a little bit more, tired and your body, you adjust so that's my version of that. But yeah, we want a clean sport anyway. These guys, as you can see, they train their bollocks off, have a clean sport. I think the VADA testing was amazing, what Joshua does. And I think my bro Dillian, it does the same thing. So these guys are the examples to show that, keep the sport clean, work as hard as you can, and this is where you get to, this kind of level. He wanted the shortcut. That's why he took all this and get all those bloody burgers.
Now, just before I let you go, because I know there are people waiting to speak to you, as I mentioned earlier on in the interview, you're manager, advisor, you're doing your thing, you're out and about. Just tell me a little bit about what you've got going on at the minute. I know you were mentioning about Shakan Peters potentially coming on either this card. I know he's boxing on the Ultimate Boxer card. What have you got going on?
Yeah, so I work with, obviously we've got the team with these guys, and then because I wanted to understand the job myself, there's no better way to go out there and learn and get your own work experience. So I went about it and just trying to make myself busy at all the press conferences, at all the fights, in the gyms, talking to a lot of guys online, because I'm getting a lot of people DMing me now about management and fighters, and it's interesting. It's good. I like that, because I like talking to these guys, giving them advice and guiding them, and if they've got the talent and the ability and they've got that marketability, because it also is marketability, because at the minute we're in a time where social media runs stuff. If you've kind of got that fame, you could be that star quality. So it's good. Shakan, he looks well, he speaks well, he's in tremendous shape. He's a bit of a freak, 6'6". At light heavy, it's ridiculous, but he is a really good long boxer, and he's got power. So he's got that fight on May the 10th. And then I'm looking to get him on some other cards. There's a few people. If hopefully this card will look into that. If not, it might be another matchroom. And then obviously I've been in talks with Frank Warren, so potentially I could, get him there, and some other shows. But I'm working alongside his, which is John Pegg and his trainer Paul Soggy. Those are good guys. He's got a good team. So I'm just trying to get him the traction, get him out there, and he'll do the business in the ring. There's a few other guys, hopefully potentially in a few weeks, that maybe I'm hoping to sign. But then we've got these guys. We've got John Harding Jr. that should be on the bill. We've got Richard Riakpo, the knockout specialist at cruiserweight. We've got Fabio Wardy that should be on there, the heavyweight. He's 5-4 knockout. So as a team, we collectively look after these guys, but then I'm doing my own stuff. So my guys, I'll potentially get them on there, but I'm prepared to work with a lot of the other promoters. MTK, Lee Eaton, he's a good pal of mine. He's a top geezer, so even him. And then potentially Chris Congo is another guy, trying to get him on some good bills. This year is going to be a good year. I've got to continue working and grafting and being everywhere and talking my bollocks off and getting in all the interviews. So, it's a strategy I've got, and it's done well. You know what I mean? And I think the fans like me as well, which is good. I like them too, because when I go to the show, they give me a lot of love, man. It's crazy, the love I get. So shout out to you guys. Bang. You know what I mean?
Very well said. As I said at the start of the interview, it's the first time, hopefully not the last time, and hopefully catch up with you soon. Fighters, give Dean Whyte a call.
Yeah, man, check me out on Instagram, _Dean Whyte, man. Right.